The Israelites were not supposed to exist until 1000 BC. The name of the God of Israel was not supposed to be known in early history. And certainly, Hebrew inscriptions from before 1000 BC were impossible. But all of these certainties, held by many scholars, were blown out of the water by a spectacular find published in a scientific article in May 2023. Keep watching this video to find out all about how, again, the Bible proved to be true. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates on exciting archaeological discoveries about the Bible. In 2019, the Associates for Biblical Research embarked on an investigation of discarded materials from an excavation conducted over 30 years prior on Mount Ebal. Led by University of Haifa professor Adam Zertel, the previous team of archaeologists had left a pile of debris at the site. Volunteers took up the task of sifting through this discarded material once again. During the meticulous sorting process, the most skilled individual on the team made an intriguing discovery. She recovered a minute artifact measuring approximately 2 square centimeters. Recognizing its significance, team leader Dr. Stripling identified it as a curse tablet. A curse tablet, also known as a defixio, is a type of artifact found in ancient Mediterranean cultures. It is essentially a small, thin piece of metal or stone on which a curse or spell is inscribed. These tablets were commonly used in various rituals and practices to invoke supernatural powers or seek divine intervention. Curse tablets typically contain inscriptions written in a concise and formulaic manner. The inscriptions often express a desired outcome, such as causing harm to an enemy, ensuring success in a particular endeavor, or seeking justice against someone who has wronged the writer of the curse tablet. How is it possible that the earlier archaeologists had missed this curse tablet? Mainly because a new technique was used called wet sifting. Wet sifting is a method used in archaeology to extract artifacts from fine-grained sediment. It involves submerging the sediment in water, agitating it to separate the artifacts, and then pouring the mixture through sieves of decreasing mesh sizes. The artifacts are retained while water drains. Wet sifting allows for the careful recovery of delicate materials that could be damaged using other methods. This method was first used in Jerusalem for finds removed from the Temple Mount and has now been employed at Mount Ebal. Why was this so significant? It immediately piqued the interest of scholars because it was a curse tablet found on Israel's mountain of curse. Mount Ebal is located in Israel near the middle of Samaria. It is one of a pair of twin peaks, the other being Mount Gerizim. Both mountains were designated by God for the reading of his blessings and curses Israel would incur for obeying or disobeying his law. Deuteronomy 11:26 records God's words to Israel. See, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing if you obey the commands of the Lord your God that I am giving you today. The curse if you disobey the commands of the Lord your God. When the Lord your God has brought you into the land you are entering to possess, you are to proclaim on Mount Gerizim the blessings and on Mount Ebal the curses. So, could the curse tablet have any connection to the curses written about in the Bible? Was it even an Israelite tablet? Dr. Stripling and his team were doubtful they would ever find out. The tablet was lead and folded up. Though there seemed to be letters visible on the outside, they quickly found out it was impossible to unfold the tablet without destroying it. However, modern technology came to the rescue. Some scanners are even capable of scanning the inside of a lead tablet nowadays. Dr. Stripling said, "We ultimately were able to find a lab in Prague that had expertise doing this. Thousands of scans were done on the tablet in 2 different settings. With extensive post-processing of those images, we were finally able to begin to see letters emerge." A team of some of the most eminent epigraphers, experts in deciphering inscription, was now formed. Besides Dr. Stripling and the people from the lab in Prague, Israeli archaeologist Gershon Galil and Dutch biblical scholar Pieter Gert van der Veen studied the tablet. They found the following inscription: You are cursed by the God Yahweh. Cursed. You will die cursed. Cursed, you will surely die. Cursed you are by Yahweh. Cursed. The discovery of this tablet is spectacular for several reasons, primarily due to its age. Scholars examining the inscription have differing opinions regarding its dating. Some suggest it originates from around 1400 BC, while others argue for a date closer to 1200 BC. Regardless, both proposed dates present a significant challenge to critics of the Bible's historical accuracy. Firstly, the inscription on the tablet is written in Hebrew, using an ancient alphabet, indicating its remarkable antiquity. It predates any other known Hebrew inscriptions by at least 2 centuries. This is noteworthy because it originates from a time period when some scholars argue that the Israelites did not even exist. Secondly, the name of the God of Israel, Yahweh, is mentioned in the inscription. It is written using the 3 letters Y, W, and H. This is particularly noteworthy because there has been debate among scholars regarding the knowledge and worship of Yahweh in the region of Canaan during that specific era. The presence of Yahweh's name challenges the notion that Yahweh was not recognized or worshipped during that time. And thirdly, curses proclaimed at Mount Ebal have a strong connection to biblical history. They were not just commanded to Moses, but it actually happened in the time of Joshua. In the book of Joshua, chapter 8, it is written that after the Israelites crossed the Jordan River and entered the Promised Land under the leadership of Joshua, they were instructed by God to carry out a ceremony on Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim. Joshua gathered the people of Israel and built an altar of uncut stones on Mount Ebal, as commanded by Moses earlier. Then, according to the instructions provided in the law of Moses, Joshua wrote the entire text of the law, presumably the blessings and curses, on large plastered stones. Next, Joshua read aloud all the words of the law to the entire assembly, including the blessings and curses that were associated with obedience or disobedience to God's commands. This served as a public reminder of the covenant between God and the Israelites and reinforced the consequences of either following or disregarding His commandment. So, where on Mount Ebal was the excavation that uncovered the cursed tablet? Professor Zertel had discovered a large stone structure there that he believed to be the original altar of unhewn stones built by Joshua. And in this exact place the cursed tablet was found that could be dated to the time of Joshua. This provides strong support that the story from Joshua is historical. In March 2022, the Associates of Biblical Research announced the discovery of the Mount Ebal cursed tablet. A lot of interest followed. However, many biblical archaeologists expressed skepticism about the claims because there was no peer-reviewed scientific article. Dr. Stripling explained that he had been forced to deviate from normal scientific practice because photographs of the tablet had already been leaked. But he promised a scientific article would follow. On May 12, 2023, a highly regarded peer-reviewed journal called Heritage Science published a groundbreaking article titled "You Are Cursed by the God Yahweh." This article, accessible to all due to its open access nature, presents a comprehensive analysis conducted by a team of researchers. As expected with ancient inscriptions, lively debates regarding the accurate interpretation of the text emerged, especially because of the utilization of new technologies. Certain scholars swiftly dismissed the presence of discernible letters, accusing Dr. Stripling and his team of arbitrarily attributing meaning to mere shadows. However, this skepticism appears to stem from their limited understanding of the employed technology and their pre-existing worldview, which deems a discovery of this nature, confirming the existence of the Israelite people and their worship of the God of Israel, as implausible. Nevertheless, the discussion is far from settled. Even among the authors of the published article, there exists some difference of opinion. While Gershon Galil is confident in the complete transcription of the inscription, Pieter Gert van der Veen is less certain. Van der Veen expresses regret that the initial article primarily focuses on the internal folds of the lead tablet, which rely on occasionally challenging to interpret scans. He would have preferred the publication of an article elucidating the information visible on the external surface of the tablet. This forthcoming article is anticipated to be released in 2024, followed by a scientific congress dedicated to the Mount Ebal tablet. The discovery has already garnered significant acclaim as the most significant inscription in biblical archaeology ever found. The Mount Ebal tablet is certain to spark prolonged discussions about the history and religion of Israel and the reliability of Bible history. Yet notably, despite their diverse backgrounds, the three epigraphers who extensively examined the tablet reached an unanimous conclusion on its key points. They observed that the Mount Ebal tablet bears a Hebrew inscription from a time when many scholars doubted the existence of the Israelite people. Furthermore, the tablet prominently features the name of Yahweh, translated as the Lord in English translations of the Bible. Significantly, it also references God's curse, specifically on the very mountain where the Bible describes curses being pronounced in His name. The convergence of these findings from the Mount Ebal tablet reinforces a growing trend in recent archaeological discoveries. Such discoveries consistently challenge the assertions of scholars who cast doubt on the historical accuracy of the Bible. Instead, they build confidence that the Bible can be trusted.